Hello, and welcome to Verminton Management. Today we're going to speak about electronic medical record or electronic health record platforms. I have compiled a 10 points to consider before you even think about signing a contract with an EMR. Of course, there are other things to consider, more details, you can go even more granular, but these are the 10 more important things that I believe you should be focusing on and you should spend all of your energies on and cross them out one by one and make sure that you're comfortable with what you're getting before even thinking about, okay, let's negotiate. The first thing is, what is an EHR? What is an EMR? An EMR or an EHR is the electronic medical record platform that serves as your centralized platform for everything regarding patient care. It is your scheduling platform, oftentimes your billing platform, your note writing platform, meaning this is where you document. In short, most of your medical work and management will be done in and from your EMR. So choosing one is no easy task and should never, ever be taken lightly. This is something that you need to spend a lot of time and a lot of thought on. Now, let's get to the point. First, pricing. Some EMR will charge you a monthly fee. Others are going to charge you per claim, and others are going to have any other pricing structure. There is a good amount of pricing structures that are out there, depending on the specialties and depending on how big the EMR is. But the biggest ones are either monthly fee, flat per provider, or a per claim fee. The EHR that I am at is a per claim fee. You always can negotiate with them the pricing, depending on the size of your clinic, depending on the size of the EMR itself. So whatever they're offering you, this is something that you could definitely negotiate. This is like a lease. A lease is the first thing that you get is usually not the thing that you're going to be signing. So you should always consider your initial budget and pick accordingly. Be mindful that migrating EHR in the future is extremely hard, very hard. This is a headache that I went through, so I do not recommend it unless it is extremely necessary. In short, being unnecessarily cheap here will be costly in the future. The second, automations. Your EHR should help you with as many administrative automation as possible. For instance, an automated patient appointment confirmation and rescheduling will save you a full-time employee at some point, and it will save you even more money as you grow. Consider asking about all of the automation the EHR comes with and ask if they're included in the price. Some EHR have them, but they charge you more. For me, that is not preferred. I'd rather pay the fee that you're telling me that I'm going to be paying and to include as many automation as possible in the EHR. Usually EHR that are more developed or bigger companies have embedded a lot of administrative responsibilities that are taken off the front desk, like appointment confirmation, rescheduling, appointment reminders, or even something that my EMR calls tickler, which is a future reminder for a patient to call us to make an appointment for their next year physical. So knowing that an EHR does all of these things is going to save you money from having to hire an employee to do this for you, because you're going to have to do this anyways. The third, integrations. Your EHR should always be integrated with pharmacies to send e-prescription, but also they should have the ability to connect to any lab of your preference. It should also have the ability to integrate with the major platforms in the city, such as the City Immunization Registry to report vaccines, and something that is called RIOS to be able to participate in programs like the Patient Center Medical Home to report to hospital medical information about your patients to improve the overall access to care. You should never pay for integrations. The EHR or the third-party vendor should run with the cost 100%. If the third-party vendor wants the business, then they have to pay for that integration for the EHR. Now, if the EHR is an EHR that is business oriented, they will pay for the integration to integrate with the city, because those are standard. They should have that. If they don't have the ability to do that, that is a red flag. 4 point, have a gamified workflow experience. Your EHR should be seamless, gamified. When I say gamified, it should feel like a game, but like a good game. Believe it or not, tech design and navigation are a huge deal for operational productivity and cost saving. If the platform is intuitive, you will spend less time training, which equals less money spent on initial hiring costs. The simpler the platform is to navigate, the faster things will get done, enhancing productivity and obviously monetization. Every second counts in this industry, and running a medical practice is definitely not the exception. Running a medical practice, one of the biggest pain point is this time spent by patients in the office. If you have an EHR that is able to seamlessly have you navigate the whole experience, that's going to help the customer experience, and is going to help productivity, and is going to allow you to see more patient in less time, meaning you're going to be making more money and the patient experience is going to be better. In short, again, every second counts. Your EMR should optimize every single second that you have. 5th, documentation support. Your EMR should be able to allow you to implement and customize template for your medical notes to optimize your time spent on documentation. Fast and forward-thinking EMRs should be offering AI-powered documentation suggestions and even voice-to-text capture functionalities. Documentation is usually the nemesis for all providers. Some providers like to document, but this is extremely rare. Most providers hate to document. Having a partner EMR that will prioritize alleviating this pain point and is committed to enhancing the experience regularly is exactly what you need. In short, you need an EMR that is constantly optimizing the documentation experience, making it faster, making it less painful, and making it a lot more intuitive than it was last year. Every year, they should be able to update you and tell you, okay, this is what we're working on, this is what's getting better, these are the new things that were implemented, because documentation is an absolute monster that doctors usually despise. Doctors, they just want to treat patients, have the connection with the patient. You should shrink the amount of time that they are documenting and spending time in front of a screen. 6, customization and flexibility. Like almost every business, smaller companies are more flexible than larger, but the smaller companies will usually not have the same package that bigger companies have. This is true for EMRs. You want an EMR that will work the best for your specialty. In some instances, this can mean that you will pick an EMR that specializes in your specialty. For instance, there are EMRs that specialize in pediatrics, others specialize in orthopedic. There's an array of them. So perhaps this will work better for you, picking one that 100% specializes on your specialty, because, well, it is customized and it is built based upon what you need, which is ultimately what you want. In other instances, you're gonna pick an EMR that is smaller, and smaller EMRs are usually a lot more willing to be flexible, a lot more willing to customize, a lot more willing to listen to your feedback, a lot more willing to work with you hand in hand to ensure that obviously you are happy, because if you're happy, that means that you're going to stay as a customer, and that they're going to be able to grow, and that they're going to be able to enhance their product towards clinics like yours. and then obviously enhance their product towards perhaps other specialties and other clinics. They're going to use you to learn and optimize. But the downside to them is that they perhaps do not have the money to integrate with everything that you need to integrate, or perhaps they don't have the money to provide you with all of the support that they need to provide you in terms of tech support that we're going to be speaking in point number 9. And they may be lacking something that perhaps a bigger company or a bigger EHR has. And of course, the bigger EHR, then the harder it is for the EHR to customize toward what you need. So you definitely need to shop around, and you definitely need to find that sweet point in terms of, okay, do I want an EHR that is specialized on my specialty, but it will come with definitely certain restrictions and certain unable to meet certain capacities that I'm looking for? Or do I want a smaller EHR that is growing and that will work hand in hand with me to deliver on what I want, but I need to be patient and wait until they get there, and even if they get there, because they could also go out of business? Or do I want a bigger EHR that is not going to be this flexible, but that I know they're probably not going to go out of business, and that they're going to give me, perhaps they're not customized based on what I want exactly, but they give me a good amount of accesses to things that the other two options don't give me. So this is something that you definitely have to keep in mind, and this is something that you definitely have to consider. Add-on services. You need to know what add-on services the EMR provides. Sometimes it provides basic add-on services that should not be paying for, which is what I mentioned earlier: scheduling support, rescheduling support, appointment confirmation support, etc. And sometimes they offer you services that make sense for you to pay on top of the EHR, which is coding services or billing services. Those are services that usually you get a third-party person or you hire someone to do. But if the EHR is able to do it and is able to do it effectively based on what you want, and they cross all of your expectations in terms of reporting, in terms of being able to code exactly how you want them to code, and being able to bill and recover the revenue that you need to recover the way you want them to recover the revenue, so then it is worth listening to them, and it's worth listening to whatever they have to offer, for sure. EMRs are also connected, or they partner up with other digital third-party vendors. You should ask them if they have a digital marketplace for you to get those services connected to your platform. Always make sure that you're asking for what else do you offer on top of your core services, and how do you deliver this? Do you have in-house teams taking care of this, or do you connect me with further third-party vendors that I could shop around? Number 8, reporting. This for me is probably, like, I put it number 8, but it's probably number 2 for me. Your performance visibility is the best indicator to know where to optimize. That is an absolute truth. You need to have that visibility in order to know, well, what do I need to work on? What is my priority right now? You need to get reporting on that. 100%. Your data is essentially your blood. For instance, you need to be able to pull report as granular as what is the top diagnosis that was treated last month. And let's say you're partnered up with a research company and they need to know that. Well, you're able to deliver that rather than you're scrambling to get that information, or you need to pay more for that information for them to pull a customized report, which is pretty bad, but some EHRs work like this. Or, for instance, another example, what are the demographics with more no-shows per visit, so you can optimize toward finding creative ways to optimize the scheduling toward that specific demographics. Let's say you are scheduling newborns in the mornings, and then you have a 50% no-show rate. Oh, well, perhaps parents don't like to come in the morning to bring their newborns, so you just schedule them in the afternoon. this is oversimplifying absolutely everything. And then you see a 20% increase. Oh, wow. Well, this is perfect because now you're monetizing even better the scheduling. You're not losing money by putting patients that are not going to show up. You're putting the patients when they are going to show up. So you're monetizing more. You're being optimal. You're feeding yourself from your reporting to optimize towards your monetization, your operation, and your overall clinic. Another type of reporting is also financial reporting. For instance, what is your highest paid CPT code in the past 6 months, or what CPT code is usually denied, so you can optimize toward financial measures. Again, your data is your blood. You need access to it, and you need an EHR that can provide seamless access to all sorts of insights. Certain reporting capabilities are also part of the requirements for certain programs, such as the patient home, I always mess that up, patient center medical home, the PCMH. So PCMH has a very specific reporting requirements. If your EHR is good at reporting and insights, you're not going to be scrambling getting those. Number 9, implementation timeline and support. All EHR have their different implementation timeline. It is always good practice to know these to plan ahead. Another really important aspect is support. Extremely important. What kind of support they have? Is it call service? How responsive they are? Are you able to create tickets? How responsive they are? What is the quality of the workers working in those tickets or those questions? What are the hours of operation? Do they match with your working hours? Any question that comes across your mind, if you have experience dealing with tech support, is a good question. So just think about any literal question, and if you need to ask them 50, 60, 100 questions about support, do it. Because you're going to have to deal with them on a regular basis. So you better make sure you're satisfied. Otherwise, you're in for a world of pain. Lastly, contract flexibility. You need to ensure you're able to get out of the contract as easy as possible. Most times, things do not go as planned. And that could be true for your relationship with your EMR. Have a very easy to cancel termination terms in your favor. The last thing you want is to be stuck with a service you don't want for more time than you should. This initial list, there is definitely more details to add, but with this 10 steps to consider first, at the very least, you're going to have, if they cross every single one of this in a positive way, you're going to have a high performing EHR. From there, then you can start comparing options. If I missed anything, please put it in the comments. If you need to speak to me more about this, please reach out. Let's continue the conversation and let's grow together.